Our homes are more than just places where we sleep and eat. They are sacred spaces. They hold the energy of our lives, our families, and our destinies. We often think of our homes as a refuge, a place where we can recharge and find peace. But there is a deeper layer to consider. According to ancient spiritual beliefs and principles, the people we invite into our homes can have a profound effect on our well-being, both physically and emotionally. When we let someone into our home, we open the door not just to their presence but to the energy they bring with them. Some people, even if they do nothing outwardly harmful, unknowingly bring with them negative energy that can affect everything: your health, your wealth, your relationships, and the overall harmony of your household. In this video, we are going to dive into the types of people you should be wary of letting into your home and why it's crucial to protect your space from negative influences. 1. The one who brings negative energy. We all encounter people who, even without intending to, seem to bring a cloud of negativity wherever they go. These individuals may not engage in loud arguments, and they may not even say anything overtly harmful, but their mere presence can feel draining, almost as though they are absorbing the energy from everyone around them. This phenomenon is more than just a vague feeling. It is an observable reality in many cases, and it can have a significant impact on the atmosphere of your home, your health, and your relationships. In Buddhist teachings, we are often reminded of the concept of karma, the law of cause and effect. Everything we do, think, and say creates ripples in the universe. When someone brings a negative energy into a space, they are unknowingly contributing to the creation of negative karma, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them. These people are often trapped in a mindset of victimhood. They constantly complain about their jobs, their families, and the world around them. Everything is always someone else's fault. They never take responsibility for their own actions, their own emotions, or their own fate. Buddha once said, "You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger." This speaks to the very core of how our emotional states affect us and those around us. Those who view the world as unfair and constantly feel like they are victims are often radiating a toxic energy. They might think they are just venting, sharing their frustrations, or seeking sympathy, but in reality, they are projecting an energy that can drain everyone else's peace. When someone with this type of energy enters your home, it is like a magnet that attracts negative emotions, anxiety, anger, resentment into your environment. You may not notice it immediately, but after they leave, you may suddenly feel unmotivated or uncomfortable in your own space. This is the power of absorbed negative energy. It clings to the space, subtly altering the mood of everyone within it. Once a place filled with warmth and life, your home may feel cold and lifeless. This disruption can manifest in various ways. Arguments may start to increase. Minor disagreements could turn into full-blown conflicts, and children may become sick or cranky for no apparent reason. Money, too, can seem to disappear, or finances might take an unexpected downturn. It is as though the flow of energy in the home has been blocked, and the good fortune and health that once existed are now diminished. In the Buddhist context, we are urged to keep our surroundings free from such harmful influences. The Buddha's teachings on mindfulness and detachment remind us to be aware of what we invite into our lives, whether it's people, thoughts, or emotions. While we can feel compassion for those going through tough times, we must also protect our sacred space from becoming a vessel for their unresolved emotional baggage. We can help them, but we don't have to invite them into the sanctity of our homes. It's better to meet them in neutral spaces, where the energy of your own home remains undisturbed. Protecting your space is vital, not only for your own well-being, but also for the health and happiness of your loved ones. 2. The silent divider. Not all negative influences are loud, and not all of them come from people who are overtly aggressive. Some people, in fact, cause division with a quiet precision that is much harder to spot but can be far more damaging. These individuals may seem caring, even kind, but their true intentions lie in the subtle manipulation of emotions. They disguise themselves as concerned friends or family members, often saying things like, "I'm only saying this because I care," or "If it were me, I wouldn't put up with that." Their words appear innocent on the surface, but they are laced with toxicity. In Buddhist teachings, right speech is one of the fundamental principles that guide us toward ethical living. Right speech encourages us to speak truthfully, kindly, and in a way that fosters harmony. The silent divider, however, violates this principle. They may not lie outright, but they plant seeds of doubt and suspicion that grow like weeds in the fertile ground of your relationships. Through seemingly harmless comments, they can erode trust, create misunderstandings, and introduce unnecessary conflict into what should be peaceful and supportive interactions. This type of person may not even be aware of the harm they are causing, but their words subtly turn the gears of division. Instead of helping to ease tensions between family members, they feed on them, making you question the motivations of the people you love. They will often manipulate situations, turning minor disagreements into major conflicts, and introducing doubt into relationships that were once solid. A small crack forms in the foundation of trust, and over time, this crack expands, leading to a breakdown in communication and a coldness that sets in. Buddha spoke of the importance of harmonious living and peaceful relationships. He taught us that true happiness comes from cultivating peaceful relationships, not just with others, but within ourselves. The silent divider's influence undermines this peace, causing a home that was once filled with love to become a battleground of suspicion and emotional distance. The hardest part of dealing with the silent divider is that you may not even realize what is happening. Their manipulations are so subtle that they can easily be mistaken for wisdom or concern. However, their effect is like the ripples in a pond after a stone is thrown in. The ripples spread and affect everything around them, even if the source of the disturbance isn't immediately obvious. To protect your home from this kind of influence, it's important to stay grounded in the teachings of mindfulness and discernment. Take a moment to reflect before reacting. When you feel a sense of frustration or doubt after a conversation, ask yourself, is this my truth, or is it something that was planted in my mind? Trust in your ability to see through the veils of manipulation and be cautious of those who bring division in the name of concern. In the end, our homes should be sanctuaries, places of peace, and the energy within them should reflect our highest values. Protecting the relationships you hold dear requires not just physical boundaries, but emotional ones as well. It is through mindful awareness of the energy others bring with them that we can preserve the sanctity of our homes and keep the balance of love and trust intact. 3. The X. There's an old saying, the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. This wisdom speaks volumes when considering the presence of an ex-lover or former spouse in your home. While it is natural to want to reconnect with people who once held a special place in your life, there's something crucial that we often overlook. The energy of the past, when reintroduced into the present, can create a disturbance that is difficult to ignore. From the Buddhist perspective, attachment is one of the primary causes of suffering. In the teachings of the Buddha, we are encouraged to release attachment to things, people, and even memories that no longer serve our spiritual growth. When you invite your ex back into your home, even if they didn't wrong you, you are inviting a part of yourself that no longer exists, a version of your life that has passed and is no longer aligned with who you are now. Imagine a person who has built a new, peaceful life, and then an old flame walks back into their space. The feeling is subtle at first, but soon enough, the energy shifts. The past, with all its emotions, both joyful and painful, starts to resurface. The person may not even realize it, but their sense of self can be shaken. It's like looking through an old photograph album and feeling the weight of memories come flooding back. You start to compare the present with what once was, and this comparison can create confusion and emotional turmoil. This shift in energy can be especially problematic if you're trying to build something new, whether it's a new relationship or simply enjoying a period of peace and stability. The presence of an ex in your home can create a crack in the foundation of the stability you've worked so hard to build. The energy they bring is no longer in harmony with the life you are trying to create. Buddhist teachings on impermanence remind us that everything is constantly changing. The person who once shared your life with you may no longer fit into the person you have become. An ex-lover is like a visitor from another time, and their presence can inadvertently make you question your current relationship or emotional state. You might find yourself feeling unsettled, reflecting on what was instead of focusing on what is. This subtle emotional disturbance can leave lingering effects long after they leave. You might feel a quiet sadness or even confusion as the energy of your current life begins to clash with the energy of your past. The Buddha's wisdom encourages us to release our attachments and live in the present moment, to avoid being pulled into cycles of longing and regret that keep us tethered to the past. The problem is not that your ex is a bad person. It's that their energy no longer aligns with who you have become. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. The presence of someone who represents a past version of yourself can subtly shift the energy of your home, disrupting your present peace. It is important to understand that you have the right to protect the space you've cultivated, especially if it helps you grow emotionally and spiritually. The more you allow this energy to linger, the more likely it is to create rifts in the very relationships you are trying to build. So what can we learn from the teachings of the Buddha in relation to this? One of his key teachings is to let go of what no longer serves us, whether that be thoughts, attachments, or people. If someone from your past no longer serves your higher self or disrupts the harmony of your current life, it is time to respectfully create boundaries. Invite the peace and healing you deserve into your home by letting go of what is no longer aligned with your growth. The unethical person. Just as we must be mindful of the energy that an ex brings into our home, we also must be cautious of people whose actions are guided by unethical behavior. At first glance, these individuals may seem harmless, polite, well-spoken, perhaps even charming, but their energy is different. Their actions or professions are often rooted in manipulation, deceit, or other unethical practices, and this energy can disrupt the very fabric of your home's peaceful atmosphere. In Buddhist philosophy, right livelihood is a core principle. Right livelihood refers to the idea that our work, our actions, and our choices should align with ethical conduct and the well-being of others. When someone engages in practices that go against these values, their energy becomes out of sync with the peaceful flow of life. It's not just about the person themselves, it's about the energy they carry, which permeates everything they do. Whether they work in deceitful industries or rely on manipulation to achieve their goals, the emotional frequency they emit can affect everyone around them. When someone who works in an unethical profession enters your home, their presence carries an underlying unease. This energy is subtle but powerful. It may not be immediately noticeable, but over time, you will begin to feel it in your thoughts and actions. The confidence you once had may begin to wane, and decisions that once felt clear might become clouded with doubt. The Buddhist teachings on karma remind us that our actions have far-reaching consequences, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. When someone with negative karma enters your home, they bring that energy with them. It's important to note that this doesn't mean you should cut ties with people who have made mistakes or who are working to change. The issue lies in those who are entrenched in unethical behavior, who have not yet made the conscious decision to live with integrity. The emotional turbulence they bring can be felt in the way you make decisions, in your interactions with others, and even in your finances. These negative energy fields can subtly distort your sense of self and influence the choices you make. Buddha taught that we should avoid those who engage in harmful actions, not only to protect our own peace, but also to avoid encouraging harmful behavior. It is crucial to protect your home from individuals whose energy disrupts the harmony of your life. This might mean setting firm boundaries with people who work in deceitful professions or who consistently make unethical decisions, even if they are close to you. Remember, your home should be a space of healing and growth, not a breeding ground for confusion, doubt, and negative energy. The impact of such a person on your family can be especially concerning. Children in particular are highly impressionable. They don't just learn from words, they absorb behaviors and energy from the people around them. If unethical behavior is allowed to enter your home unchecked, there is a risk that the younger generation will adopt these harmful values, knowingly or unknowingly. Buddhist teachings on the 5 precepts, including abstaining from deceit and harm, remind us that living ethically is not just a personal choice, but a responsibility we hold for those around us, especially for those we are raising. By establishing strong boundaries and being mindful of the energy you allow into your space, you are not just protecting yourself, you are protecting your loved ones and the values that you hold dear. Surround yourself with people whose energy aligns with integrity, honesty, and kindness. Create a space where these positive influences can thrive and where the energy of deception has no place to settle. The boundary invader. In today's world, personal space is a concept that is often overlooked. Whether it's a friend, family member, or even a colleague, there are those who, despite having no ill intentions, fail to respect the boundaries of others. These are the people who walk into your home and open the fridge without asking, dig through your drawers, or offer unsolicited advice about your life. Things that on the surface might seem harmless, but can slowly erode the feeling of safety and security within your sanctuary. The Buddha taught us that mindfulness and respect are essential components of harmonious living. In the Dhammapada, one of the most revered Buddhist scriptures, it is said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." These teachings remind us that our relationships with others should be rooted in respect for personal boundaries, as every individual's space is an extension of their inner peace. At first, the actions of a boundary invader might seem trivial. Maybe it's just a quick rummage through your things or an unsolicited comment about your relationships. But these small violations, when repeated over time, can chip away at your sense of control, safety, and even your self-worth. You may start to feel uncomfortable in your own space, as if it's no longer your sanctuary, but a place where your peace is constantly being undermined. In the Buddhist tradition, we understand that attachment can cause suffering, not just attachment to material possessions, but also to the way we feel about our own space. A home is not just 4 walls and a roof. It is a place where you should feel safe, calm, and at ease. Boundaries serve as the walls of the sanctuary, and when those walls are breached, it can lead to discomfort and distress. One story from the Buddha's life serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of setting boundaries. When he was meditating under the Bodhi tree on the path to enlightenment, Mara, the tempter, tried to invade his space, both physically and emotionally. He sent his armies to disrupt the peace of the Buddha's meditation. But the Buddha, grounded in his mindfulness and inner peace, did not allow these disturbances to alter his focus. This teaches us that our personal boundaries, whether they be physical or emotional, are essential to maintaining our peace and well-being. For many of us, it's hard to assert our boundaries, especially with people we care about. We don't want to seem rude, or we worry about hurting someone's feelings. However, the Buddha's teachings on right speech remind us that setting clear, compassionate boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's about communicating our needs in a way that honors both ourselves and others. Just as a garden needs clear borders to keep the plants healthy, our personal space requires boundaries to maintain harmony and balance. By addressing boundary violations gently but firmly, we protect the sanctity of our homes and our emotional health. It's not about pushing people away, but about ensuring that our homes remain safe spaces, free from unnecessary tension and intrusions. 6. The emotional drainer. The emotional drainer is a type of person who, while not overtly negative or aggressive, carries an energy so heavy that it can shift the entire atmosphere of your home. These individuals may be dealing with unresolved emotional issues, stress, depression, jealousy, or grief that they have not worked through. As a result, even if they say nothing overtly harmful, their emotional turmoil subtly spreads and affects everyone around them. In Buddhist teachings, we often speak of the mind-body connection, the way our emotions and mental states influence not only our well-being, but also our surroundings. The Satipatthana Sutta, one of the Buddha's key discourses on mindfulness, reminds us that our minds are the source of all suffering or joy. When someone brings unresolved emotional chaos into your space, it's like they are spilling their internal turmoil into the environment, making it difficult for positive energy to flow freely. The most difficult part about the emotional drainer is that they may not even realize the effect they're having on others. Their emotional weight is not always visible. It's more like an invisible fog that clouds the air. You may not notice it immediately, but over time, subtle disturbances start to happen. The once peaceful environment in your home begins to feel off. Arguments might break out for no reason. Things in the house may break, or your sleep might be disturbed by strange dreams. These are the subtle yet real consequences of absorbing someone else's emotional distress. One of the Buddha's most profound teachings is that suffering is a part of life, but it does not define us. Samsara, the cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, is a reminder that all things, including our emotions, are impermanent. If we do not address our emotional turmoil, it can ripple out and affect everything around us. The Buddha also taught that compassion is essential, but we must not confuse compassion with allowing ourselves to become overwhelmed by another person's unresolved emotions. If we are to help them, we must do so in a way that doesn't drag us into their emotional chaos. In Buddhist practice, there is a concept known as metta or loving kindness. This is the cultivation of unconditional love and compassion for all beings, including ourselves. Metta is a tool we can use to protect ourselves from being consumed by others' emotional states. It allows us to offer support without being dragged down. For example, a story from the Buddha's teachings involves a young man named Sujata, who offered the Buddha food and support while he was meditating. Sujata's generosity came from a place of loving kindness, but she did not force her support onto the Buddha. Instead, she allowed him to maintain his peaceful state of mind. This is a vital lesson. We can offer compassion and love to those who are struggling, but we must also be mindful of our own emotional well-being. If you are dealing with someone who brings emotional chaos into your home, the best approach is not to avoid them altogether, but to engage with them mindfully and thoughtfully. Meet them where they are, but also protect your space. You don't need to completely shut them out, but you do need to set clear emotional boundaries. You can offer support, but not at the expense of your own peace. The Buddha's teachings remind us that balance is essential. You cannot give from an empty cup. To maintain your own emotional health, it's crucial to preserve the peace and harmony in your home, which serves as the foundation for your well-being. The emotional drainer's presence doesn't have to lead to chaos. With mindfulness and loving kindness, you can protect your home's energy while offering them the support they need. The energy of your home is a reflection of your inner peace and well-being. By carefully considering who you allow into your space, you are protecting not just your physical space, but your emotional and spiritual health as well. Your home should be a place where positive energy flows freely, a space that nurtures your family and supports your goals. Be mindful of the energy people bring with them, and don't hesitate to keep boundaries in place to protect the harmony and peace you've worked so hard to create.